Chapter 2, Family History. The history of our family can be traced back for about 27 generations. The bosses are Kyastha by caste. The founder of the Dakshin Rahari clan of the bosses was one Dashratha Bose who had two sons, Krishna and Parama. Parama went over to East Bengal and settled there, while Krishna lived in West Bengal. One of the great grandsons of Dashratha was Mukti Bose, who resided at Mahanagar, a village about 40 miles to the south of Calcutta, whence the family is now known as the Boses of Mahinagar. 11th in descent from Dashratha was Mahipati, a man of understanding, ability and intelligence. He attracted the attention of the king of Bengal, who appointed him as a minister of finance and war. In appreciation of his services, the king, who was Muslim by religion, conferred on him the title of Subuddi Khan. As was the prevailing custom, Mahipati was also given as a Jagir as a mark of royal favor, and the village of Subuddipur, not far from Mahinagar, was probably his Jagir. Of Mahipati's 10 sons, Ishan Khan, who was the fourth, rose to eminence and maintained his father's position at the royal court. The Ishan Khan had three sons, all of whom received titles from the king. The second son, Gopinath Bose, possessed extraordinary ability and prowess and was appointed finance minister and naval commander by the king Sultan Hussain Shah. He was rewarded with the title of Purandar Khan and his Jagir, now known as Purandarpur, not far from his native village of Mahinagar. In Purandarpur, there is a tank called Khanpukur. Khan's tank, which is a relic of a 1 mile long excavated by Purandar Khan. The village of Malecha and near Mahinagar has grown on the site of Purandar's garden. In those days, the Hooghly flowed in the vicinity of Mahinagar, and it is said that Purandar used to travel by boat to and from God, the then capital of Bengal. He built up a powerful navy which defended the kingdom from external attack and was its commander. Purandar also made his mark as a social reformer. Before his time, according to the prevailing Balali custom, the two wings of Kyastha, Kulin and Maulik, did not as a rule laid down did not as a rule intermarry. Purandar laid down a new custom to the effect that only eldest issue of a Kulin need marry into a Kulin family, while others could marry Mauliks. This custom, which has generally followed till the present day, saved the caste from impending disaster, the fruit of excessive inbreeding. Purandar was also a man of letters. His name figures among the composers of Padabali, the devotional song of Vaishnavas. Evidence is afforded by several Bengali poems like Kavi Rama's Rai Mangal, that as late as 200 years ago. The Hooghly, called in Bengali Ganga, followed by Mahinagar and the neighbor villages. Kali Prasanna Bose. During the last few decades, the locality has played an important part in the nationalist movement. Influential congressmen like Hari Kumar Chakravarti and Sarkari Banerjee hail from this quarter, and no less a man than Comrade M.N. Roy of international fame was born there. To come back to our story, the bosses who migrated to Kodiala must have been living there for at least 10 generations, for their genealogical tree is available. My father was the 13th descendant from Purandar Khan and 26th from Dashratha Bose. My grandfather Harnath had four sons, Jadunath, Kedarnath, Devendranath and Janakinath. My father, though by tradition our family was Shakta, Harnath was a pious and devoted Vaishnava. The Vaishnavas being generally more non-violent in temperament, Harnath stopped practice of goat sacrifice at the annual Durga Puja, which used to be celebrated with great pomp every year. Durga Puja being the most important festival of Hindus of Bengal. This innovation has been honored till the present day, though another branch of Bols family living in the same village still adheres to goat sacrifice at the annual puja. Harnath's four sons migrated to different places in search of a career. The eldest son, Jadunath, who worked in imperial secretariat, had to spend a good portion of his time in Simla. The second, Kedarnath, moved to Calcutta permanently. The third, Devendranath, who joined the educational service of the government and rose the rank of principal, had to move from the place to place and after retirement settled down in Calcutta. My father was born on 28th May 1860 and my mother in 1869. After passing the matriculation examination from the Albert School, Calcutta, he studied for some time at the St. Xavier's College and the General Assembly Institution. He then went to Cuttack and graduated from Ravenshaw College. He turned to Calcutta to take his law degree. During this period, came into close contact with prominent personality of Brahmo Samaj, Brahmananda Keshwar Chandra Sen, and his brother Krishna Vihari Sen, Umesh Chandra Sen Dutt, principal of the city college. He worked for a time as a lecturer in the Albert College of Krishna Vihari Sen was the rector. In 1885, he went to Cuttack and joined the bar. The year 1901 saw him as the first non-financial elected chairman of the Cuttack municipality. By 1905, he became government pleader and public prosecutor. In 1912, he became a member of Bengal Legislative Council and received the title of Rai Bahadur. In 1917, following some differences with the district magistrate, he resigned from the post of government pleader and public prosecutor, and 13 years later, in 1930, he gave up the title of Rai Bahadur as a protest against the regressive policy of the government. Besides being connected with the public bodies like municipality and the district board, he took an active part in educational and social institutions like Victoria School and Cuttack Union Club. He had extensive charities and poor students came in for a regular share of them. Though the major portion of his charities went to Odisha, he did not forget his ancestral village where he founded a charitable dispensary and library named after his mother and father respectively. He was a regular visitor at the annual session of Indian National Congress, but he did not actively participate in politics, though he was a consistent supporter of Swadeshi. After the commencement of the non-cooperation movement in 1921, he interested himself in the constructive activities of the Congress, Khadi and national education. He was long of a religious bent of mind and received initiation twice. His first guru being Shakta and the second of Vaishnava. For years, he was the president of the local theosophical lodge. He had always a soft spot for the poorest of the poor. Before his death, he made provisions for his old servants and other dependents. As mentioned in the first chapter, my mother belonged to the family of Dutt of Atkola, a northern quarter of Calcutta. In early days of British rule, the Dutts were one of those families in Calcutta who attained a great deal of prominence by virtue of their wealth and their ability to adapt themselves to the new political order. As a consequence, they played a role among the new aristocracy of the day. My mother's grandfather, Kashinath Dutt, broke away from the family and moved to the Baranagar, a small town about 6 miles to the north of Kolkata. He built a palatial house for himself and settled down there. He was a very well educated, a voracious reader, and a friend of the students. He held a high administrative post in the firm of Messrs. Jardine, Skinner and Company, a British firm doing business in Calcutta. Both my mother's father and Ganga Ganga Narayan Dutt and grandfather had a reputation for being wise in selecting their son-in-law. They were thereby able to make alliances with the leading families among the Calcutta aristocracy of the day. One of the Kashinath's son-in-law was Sir Ramesh Chandra Mitra, who was the first Indian to be acting Chief Justice of High of Kolkata High Court. Another was Rai Bahadur Ali Vallabh, who had migrated to the Cuttack before my father and as a lawyer had won a unique position for himself throughout the whole of Orissa. It is said of my maternal grandfather Ganga Narayan that before he agreed to give my mother in marriage to my father, he put the latter through an examination and satisfied himself as to his intellectual ability. My mother was the eldest daughter. Her younger sisters were married successively to Brother Chandra Mitra, ICS District and Session Judge Mr. Upendranath Bose of Banaras City, Chandranath Ghosh, subordinate judge, and Dr. J.N. Bose, younger brother of the late Rai Bahadur Chunilal of Kolkata. From the point of view of eugenesis, it is interesting to note that on my father's side, large families were exceptions, not the rule. But on my mother's side, the contrary seems to have been the case. Thus, my maternal grandfather had 9 sons and 6 daughters. Among his children, the mother the daughters generally had a large families including my mother, but not the sons. My parents had 8 sons and 6 daughters, of whom 9 out of 7 sons and 2 daughters are still alive. Among my sisters and brothers, some but not the majority have as many as 8 and 9 children, but it is not possible to say that the sisters are more prolific than the brothers or vice versa. It would be interesting to know if in a particular family the prolific strand adheres to one sex more than to the other. Perhaps eugenicists could answer the question.